1926.454 Training Requirements. This section supplements and clarifies the requirements of Section 1926.21 B.2, as these relate to the hazards of work on scaffolds. 1926.454 A. The employer shall have each employee who performs work while on a scaffold trained by a person qualified in the subject matter to recognize the hazards associated with the type of scaffold being used and to understand the procedures to control or minimize those hazards. The training shall include the following areas, as applicable. 1926.454 A1 through 1926.454 A5. The nature of any electrical hazards, fall hazards, and falling object hazards in the work area, the correct procedures for dealing with electrical hazards and for erecting, maintaining, and disassembling the fall protection systems and falling object protection systems being used, the proper use of the scaffold, and the proper handling of materials on the scaffold, the maximum intended load and the load-carrying capacities of the scaffolds used, and any other pertinent requirements of this subpart. 1926.454 B. The employer shall have each employee who is involved in erecting, disassembling, moving, operating, repairing, maintaining, or inspecting a scaffold trained by a competent person to recognize any hazards associated with the work in question. The training shall include the following topics, as applicable. 1926.454 B.1 through 1926.454 B.4. The nature of scaffold hazards, the correct procedures for erecting, disassembling, moving, operating, repairing, inspecting, and maintaining the type of scaffold in question, the design criteria, maximum intended load-carrying capacity, and intended use of the scaffold, any other pertinent requirements of this subpart. 1926.454 C. When the employer has reason to believe that an employee lacks the skill or understanding needed for safe work involving the erection, use, or dismantling of scaffolds, the employer shall retrain each such employee so that the requisite proficiency is regained. Retraining is required in at least the following situations. 1926.454 C1 through 1926.454 C3, where changes at the worksite present a hazard about which an employee has not been previously trained, or where changes in the types of scaffolds, fall protection, falling object protection, or other equipment present a hazard about which an employee has not been previously trained, or where inadequacies in an affected employee's work involving scaffolds indicate that the employee has not retained the requisite proficiency.